Oh my god, yeah. Oh my gosh, hi. Hi.
Working at Sephora is like all the 10-year-olds, literally 10-year-olds and under, coming in the store for Drunk Elephant, and sometimes it being fucking retinol. What the fuck does a 10-year-old need retinol for?
The impact of social media is so scary because I don't know what's going on with teenagers nowadays, but before I used to think looking like this was cool. Sure, a lot of us thought becoming an adult would be the coolest experience. Boy, were we wrong. And I know we really looked forward to getting that independence, but these days it looks like kids are no longer aspiring to be grown-ups and are actually embodying or acting like grown-ups. I mean, it's so scary. Clearly, kids of today are nothing like kids of the past. And newsflash, it's not their fault, but I think I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I've noticed a lot of people bringing up how kids who are like 16 or 17 are starting to look like they're in their 20s or 30s, highlighting people like Jody Woods and Alabama Barker. And a lot of people are referencing the impact of social media. And social media has undoubtedly contributed to more and more kids wanting to act older than their age. I do want to say that this obviously didn't start with apps like Instagram and TikTok, though. Even though these apps are the reason why it's becoming popularized or deemed to be normal. Clearly, so much is being put out there for children to observe and imitate. But again, this has been a thing even prior to this. So let's take a brief look at history and how kids have been encouraged to act way older than their age, possibly due to their careers and the influence of the people around them. We all know the stars we grew up watching on TV networks like Disney Channel and Nickelodeon. And it doesn't take much digging for us to become aware of the experiences they had as children, just because of what they did for a living and the influence of the adults around them. I don't know if you guys remember A Cinderella Story starring Hilary Duff and Chad Murray, but that was definitely a staple of my childhood. And there were a few things about that movie that didn't sit right with many, including myself. Many don't know this, but Hilary Duff was 16 at the time while her co-star Chad Murray was 23. While this wasn't a real relationship, it's still inappropriate to me. Hilary Duff's character was portrayed to have a romantic relationship, more on the innocent side, however, but romantic nonetheless, and even shared a kiss on screen with Chad Murray's character. A 7-year age gap isn't much in my opinion if you're over 20, but at 16, I think there's just something not right about this combination. And we have to remember that when filming a movie, a lot of practice goes into it. And so the interactions we see on screen were probably rehearsed several times before the final cut. And it's just not appropriate for a 16-year-old and a 23-year-old to be in that situation, in my opinion. Either way, it happened, and Hilary Duff wasn't the only young child in Hollywood who had similar experiences. We also hear stories about kids who were on Nickelodeon and Disney Channel who got to attend parties with adults and not only got access to alcohol, but claimed to have been encouraged to drink it. An example we've probably all heard about is Jeanette McCurdy's experiences working on iCarly and Sam and Cat. In an interview with the New York Times, she claimed that one of the creators of iCarly, who was most likely Dan Schneider, gave her unwanted massages and even pressured her to drink alcohol. She also said she was encouraged to wear the most revealing clothing, and once Sam and Cat was canceled, she was offered $300,000 to never speak about her experiences working with the network, to which she turned down. To piggyback on this, back then, those were the types of kids that we would see having those inappropriate adult interactions. It wasn't usually your average normal kid. We were seeing or hearing about mostly kid actors and musicians growing up before their time. However, now it's many kids being affected, regardless of if they've ever been cast in a movie or a TV show or had a music career, and it's starting even earlier than before. The kids of celebrities always received some sort of public attention, but now we're seeing more and more 15, 16, 17-year-olds dressed up and acting like adults and deliberately putting themselves in the public eye through their social media accounts. Like I already mentioned, the most popular examples are clearly people like Jody Woods and Alabama Parker. Clearly, they have famous family members and so were in the public eye by default, but they've sort of amplified their popularity by being active on social media. And it's not just being active, it's also about the types of content that they post and the other celebrities they interact with on social media. Like, is there any reason why a 16-year-old should have anything to do with the Clermont twins? Unless they are maybe related or something. The way these kids use Instagram and TikTok will have you mistaking them for full-blown adults. And I feel like this is such a dangerous game they and their parents are playing. It literally feels like it's getting worse as time goes on, because look how even just a few years ago, celebrities who were then kids like Kylie, Kendall, and Jordan were already acting older than their age, but still, it was not to the extent of the kids today. It's clearly getting worse the bigger social media get, and the more kids are being encouraged to pursue social media as a full-time job. And I have to reiterate that this isn't the kids' fault, because parents and other adult figures must be involved in the representation of these kids in the public eye. Something that I noticed to be a popular topic on TikTok, which kind of goes hand in hand with this idea of kids growing up before their time, is Sephora employees talking about the number of kids who frequent the store in search of drunk elephant products, high-end perfumes, and other luxury cosmetics. Like, the store associates are claiming that it has gotten so bad that they have to start putting drunk elephant testers behind the counter because kids are coming in and making their little skincare smoothies and just leaving the testers in a hot, unsanitary mess. Kids have way more exposure to brands that are marketing certain things directly to them because of social media. They're also seeing kids around their age who are influencers like Penelope Disick and Northwest doing skincare and makeup routines, and this no doubt has an impact on their perception of what it means to be a child. Like, it's just so much easier for a young person to see things and be exposed to things that we just weren't being exposed to before. Even if celebrity kids were doing 12-step skincare routines and doing full faces of makeup, we just weren't seeing it like that as children. Even if the celebrities we grew up on, like Miley Cyrus and Miranda Cosgrove, were doing 12-step makeup routines or skincare routines, we just didn't have the access to that content the way kids do today. When I talk about the whole drunk elephant epidemic, and yes, I'm calling it an epidemic, be aware that I'm referring to mainly 9 to 12-year-old kids. Kids who aren't even teenagers yet. They're rushing to Sephora and spending hundreds of dollars on drunk elephant products, and their parents are helping them do so. Like in this specific video.
These 10-year-old girls at Sephora are crazy, but what's crazier are the parents that aren't parenting. So the other day when I was working, we were kind of busy, so the line was kind of long, and this little girl walks up to me, and her basket is literally overflowing. Like, the amount of products that were in there, she had to have been maybe 9, 10, maybe 11 years old, but regardless, definitely way too young to be shopping at Sephora. And I start grabbing the items out so I could scan them, and before I can start, she goes, "Wait, I have 2 perfumes on hold. Can you get those too?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course. What's your name?" So I go grab her perfumes, and then she goes, "Can you scan those first so I can see how much they are?" So I proceed to scan the 2 perfumes, and the 2 perfumes alone came out to $300. $300. So I finished scanning all her products, and her total came out to almost $900. She looks at me and she kind of gives me like a nervous kind of look. She's like, And in my head, I'm like, "Girl, yeah, what did you think the total was gonna come out to?" So I see her look to her left. To the left, I see that there's an older lady who is her mom and a younger girl, which is her sister. And they're checking out at the register like 2 down from me. And the little girl calls the sister over, and the sister's like, "What? Like, how much is it?" And she's like, "Well, how much was yours?" And the sister goes, $500. She said that so normal, like, she literally looked at her and said, "Yeah, $500. So the one that I'm helping out goes, "Well, mine is almost $900. So then her sister is like, "Well, do you have enough?" And she was like, "No, but I'm probably just gonna use mom's money." So I'm kind of just watching this all go down, and in my head I'm like, so what are we doing here? Like, are you gonna get it or not? Like, our line is long. It was literally right after the holidays. You know, the line wasn't gonna get any shorter. So then I tell the girl, are you gonna be paying cash or card? And she goes, sorry, can you give me 1 second? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So she calls her mom over, and the mom like looks at me and she smiles, and then she looks down and goes, wait, how much is it? And the little girl tells her. The mom literally freaked out. She was like, what? No way you're about to spend $900. Which in my head, I'm like, period. Like, thank you for putting her in place. Anyways, the mom is furious, and the little girl is just looking at her like, what? Like, yeah, bitch, I'm gonna spend $900. Like, I don't know what you're looking at. So I'm kind of just looking at them like, what do I do? And then the mom goes, take something out. The little girl lost her mind. She's like, no, I'm not taking anything out. And the mom was like, no, you're gonna take something out, because what even is in there? So she's like, what even is that? And the little girl's like, it's a flower bomb. I don't even know what a flower bomb is, but apparently it was a perfume. And the mom's like, you literally already have 2 other perfumes. Like, why do you need another one? And the little girl's just like, because I want it.
I find it appalling that a child would ever need to spend that much money on Sephora. The fact that she removed makeup from her cart and still had about $500 worth of stuff in her cart, and her mother was okay with it, is insane to me. And she had a flower bomb in her cart, which I also feel like is just a no-no for a child. Like, that is luxury perfume. And maybe I'm just a hater, but I didn't start shopping at Sephora until I was like in college. I'm not saying you have to wait till you're in college to shop at Sephora, but I just couldn't imagine spending that amount of money as like a 12-year-old, because I didn't even need half of the things I used to buy. It was just basic overconsumption. And the person telling the story said that this kid looked like they were like 11 years old tops. So yeah, no, I highly doubt an 11-year-old needs retinol. But it's really none of my business because her parents were okay with it. Her mom was literally helping her make that purchase. Something else I've noticed to be more and more prevalent today with the continuous rise of social media is that everybody is obsessed with aesthetics. It's not just the kids, it's the adults too.
Y'all know something? I might be alone on this, but I am so over aesthetics. I'm so over it. I just feel like here we are in our in our mid to late 20s, acting like a bunch of middle-aged white women. No shade to the middle-aged white women, but that's what we're acting like. We're dressing like them. We're driving the same cars. We're living in the same houses. Like, what sense does it make for you to be a 23-year-old girl living in a townhouse and all you got is a dog and no kids? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, have fun, live life, wear colors, like, have fun with makeup, like, go outside, travel. You know, I just feel like we are wasting our youth trying to fit this cookie cutter type situation, and I'm over it, because I'm just like, when we get to that age, we're gonna be trying to chase the same youth that we threw away for the name of in the name of being aesthetically pleasing. I'm over it.
I know I've said this before, but I'll say it again. We as adults are so easily influenced. So how on earth can we expect kids to not be? We cannot expect different from literal children. Everyone wants the same look, the same car, the same house, wear the same clothes in the same color scheme, and take the same picture of the same iced coffee with the same manicure on the same steering wheel. We're taking in so much information so fast, and we often want to imitate it, not realizing that our emphasis on aesthetics is taking away from our originality and consequently our youth as well. And yeah, it's trickling down to kids at a younger and younger age, and it's taking away from their ability to just be youthful and just enjoy being a kid.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh my gosh, hi! Hi! Oh my gosh, you're literally like, it's just not giving, like, oh, like, that's not, like, it's literally not giving. What's this? My lip gloss. You wouldn't know anything. Wait, you don't know what Summer Fridays is? Oh my gosh. Ew, brain rot. You're like not like, you're just not like it girl core. Like, it's so preppy in here.
Kids of today don't even play outside anymore. They're not even doing the things that we did as kids because they'd much rather be on TikTok following trends that they see from their favorite influencers. They lack vitamin D. And to make it even worse, these kids are obsessed with Drunk Elephant products that will literally do more harm than good for their youthful and probably sensitive skin because it isn't meant for them. Yes, I'm still talking about Drunk Elephant.
Have y'all seen the kids' skincare routine on this app? The kids that's not even in high school, they're in elementary school. They use a Drunk Elephant. They got a whole intensive 8-10 step skincare routine that they do before they go to school. I'm like, who's buying this for them? Because I know the Drunk Elephant products have like anti-Asian, like it's not for children. They be there like, yeah, get ready to go to school, meet using mad products. I'm like, yo, this generation is insane. It's crazy to me.
Many dermatologists have come forth to talk about how retinol has no business being on a 9-year-old's face. You're young and you simply don't need it. You haven't even hit puberty yet. There's no acne or aging taking place to need any sort of intricate skincare routine. But as much as we all know that all a 9-year-old needs to do is wash their face, and honestly, Dove soap would probably work just fine, like literally while you're in the shower. Kids don't care and would rather listen to influencers. And now Drunk Elephant has even come out to say that they do have tween-friendly products, fully taking advantage of the fact that kids want to use their products. And I'm sure most kids aren't going to experience a huge breakout from using this stuff, but the simple fact is they don't need it, especially for such a ridiculous price point. All this does is encourage overconsumption and the idea that having certain things correlates with your value, and it doesn't. But again, how can we expect kids to not want what they see on the internet when adults want what they see on the internet? This is why I say it's getting scary at this point, because how can the blind possibly lead the blind? We can't really set good examples if we're doing the very thing that we're telling others to be wary of or not to do. But that's enough of me rambling for today. What do you guys think? Do you think kids should be shopping at Sephora? Have you been seeing any of this commotion on TikTok about 9-year-olds in Sephora? What do you think about how much quicker kids seem to be aging nowadays? And do you think that social media is the culprit, or do you have a different opinion? Let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.